Endless freaking Legends 2. Oh my god. Now, some of you are going to click into this video and not know what I'm talking about. One of my favorite series of all time is Endless, the Endless Universe. I've played Endless Legends, Space 2, Dungeons of the Endless, the new Dungeons game, Humankind. I've played them all, apart from the first Endless Space, and I've loved every single one. And today, Amplitude Studio announced that they're releasing Endless Space 2, finally, after so long. People have been hoping and waiting for this game for a millennia, and it's finally here. We got a trailer today and it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. The developers were talking about the game today in the live stream. Yearly they do an Amplitude event to go over the game, just talk about certain facts about the series, and it's amazing. It's actually so awesome, and I can't wait. I really can't wait. I want to play this game. I want to see what this game is about and what they've learned since Endless Legends. There's so much that's happened to Amplitude Studio. They went on to make Endless Space 2, they made Humankind, they made other dungeon games, they've done a lot of stuff and they've learned a lot. Even throughout all those games, I have said many times to my friends in real life, Endless Legends had the best question system, it had the best mechanics when it came to combat, and it had the best story. The fantasy, going around questing, doing your story for your actual class was fantastic. It was great. The RPG elements in that game, you felt like you were in a fantasy game. It was so surreal. It was amazing. I first started to play the game back in 2017 and it changed my life. Honestly, I was in a dark point at that time in my life. I don't want to go too much into it, but basically I found the game. I was just playing it all the time. I just couldn't put it down. I just wanted to play with different classes, different fractions, just test out different mechanics in the game, because there's so much to this 4X game. It's so expansive. So I'm very excited to see what's going to be happening with this game coming up soon. Now, I talked about what Endless Legends did best. Well, let's talk about what Endless Space 2 did best, because I think Endless Space 2 did systems best. The systems in that game, the atmosphere is great. It's amazing. It's peak. Supremacy DLC is peak DLC in my opinion. It changed the whole game in a great way. It was amazing. But the way the systems work between you, your faction, your empire, building your empire, building your ships, it felt great. It literally felt like I was role-playing, building my own army to tear down different civilizations. Like, it was great. It was actually so awesome. Now, there's a couple issues with Endless Space 2, mainly around the combat. There is basically no combat. It's all in auto rails. You pick the tactics beforehand, and then you just send them on their way, and then they just do the tactics you gave them, and you have to hope for the best. Very hard to understand, but the more you played it, the more you understood. If they take the best of that game, which comes down to its systems and the mechanics around the systems, bring it into Endless Legends 2, it's gonna be so peak. We're gonna get a 10 out of 10 game on our hands. But it's nothing just that. The balance in Endless Space 2, I think, was amazing. The fractions and the different things that fractions do well in that game was great. So many good ideas in that game. The tech tree was one of the best tech trees I've ever seen in any 4X game. It was crazy. There was so much to it. There was actually so much to that game. Even to this day, I've played it for over 700 hours, and there's so much more that I could find out and test with in that game. It's incredible. And then going on from there, Humankind. Now, Humankind was the newest 4X game, which I love a lot and I've played a lot, but there was issues with that game. But let's not focus on the issues, let's focus on the big thing that made the game such a peak experience in its atmosphere. The freedom in combat was good. Being able to just get into battles, add troops, the mechanics around that system was great. The unique buildings, the unique units. Even though there was so many different cultures in that game, I believe as of now 14 per era, including all of the DLCs, which is huge. It's an incredible amount. And there's 6 eras, so there's over 60 professions. There's a crazy amount of content there. Now, they did fall short on the events and other stuff on the side, but the core experience of going through the areas, building your empire, building your civilization, learning from different cultures, and taking bits and pieces and seeing what works and what can benefit you going forward was great. It really forced you to play on the fly. Now, if they can incorporate that type of situational combat and situational 4X experience into Endless Legends 2, we're going to have such an amazing hand with such a plethora of ideas to play with. Now, coming back to Endless Legends 2, we don't know when it's releasing. They talked about a beta, they talked about even a pre-beta, an alpha where you can sign up and hopefully you can play, but I don't think you're allowed to show footage on that. I'm going to talk to some representatives to see if I can find out more information, because I would really love to cover this game. I want to cover it in full, but I need to see what I can do there. And we don't know really about the professions. Now, in the trailer, we did see the Necrophrage, we saw the Broken Lords, which is great. It's just good to see some of these old professions back, some of the OGs, and I love the Broken Lords were my guys. I love Broken Lords. In that game, to be honest, I won't lie, Broken Lords was so much fun to me. I didn't play much else, but there are so many other fractions in that game, in the first game, which are amazing. I will say Endless Space 2, I think overall had a better roster when it came to balancing their fractions. So let's hope in Endless Legends 2, they'll learn from that and incorporate that into the game. So yeah guys, I don't know what else to say, man. I'm so excited. I want to see this game push the boundaries on questing, RPG mechanics, battle. Those are the things 100% I know they're going to do really well when it comes to building cities, expanding. That was something that Humankind did really well. Humankind allowed you to expand your territories quite nicely, and it gave you freedom. I think in these 4X games, you need freedom. That's one of the most important things, to allow the user to create their own empire in the way they want. Even if they're making bad decisions, they give them the option. Maybe there's a mechanic in a certain way with a certain build and setup for your empire to make something work specifically for one setup. Finding those setups is crazy and great, and that's one of the best things about Endless. But lastly, there are 2 things that I think they need to fix when it comes to this game. Probably 3. Now, 1, information. Like I said, these games are packed with information, but there isn't enough ways to understand what the game is talking about. I had to put so many goddamn hours into Legends, into Space 2, into Humankind to even understand the basics. There's so much there, it's crazy. They need better tutorials, they need better info dumps, a glossary of all the information that you need to teach players. And if you see a certain skill, I should know what the skill does. In Endless Legends, it's so difficult to find out what certain skills do. Sometimes even looking on the wiki, they have no idea and they're just guessing. So it's really hard. I hope they tackle that even better in this game. The second one is alliances. Alliances in the Endless games have been a bit wonky. I think Space 2 does them the best out of the 3 games, to be honest. Yes, you do need a certain technology to make alliances, but after that, you do get a lot of freedom to trade systems, to trade resources, money, sciences, technologies in general. It's quite smooth. Endless Legends is similar, but the NPCs in that game are very, very stingy. They don't want to trade with no one. You have to give a leg and an arm just to allow them to give you a technology. It's crazy, and yet they'll ask you for the most and give you the scraps. That needs to change. That needs to be fixed. Definitely for solo play. It's very important for solo play. Being able to create alliances or break alliances and the dealings around alliances or other NPCs is important, very important in these single player games. In Humankind, I think they did alliances really well, but the issue was there wasn't enough freedom. The only thing you can really trade at will is money, influence, and territories. You can't get them resources, you can't get them other certain things like troops on demand. Yes, you can trade resources, but then it's a set price. You don't really have the luxury of whatever you want to do in the game, which is unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I really wish they allowed that for us players in that game. So hopefully in Endless Legends 2, they will allow us to have the freedom when it comes down to that mechanic. Not just for NPCs, but also when we play online. Speaking about online, that's the third thing. They need to improve on their online in many facets. One of the things, desyncing. The game desyncs way too often, and desyncing basically means when you're playing online with other people, your session and the person you're playing your session don't link up in a certain way. Maybe some maths or some certain calculations are off, and that way there's a bit of discrepancies between your games, and that can lead to bugs and crashes and issues. And they've had a lot of problems when it comes to multiplayer and stability, so I hope they fix it up correctly in this game. So yes, less of that, but not even just that. There needs to be more settings when it comes to multiplayer. If I want to start on a similar island as my friends, let me do that. If I want to do a gameplay where everyone is split out on different islands, or we start as an alliance versus another alliance on the same island, let us have those options. Let us be free. I think the freer you make people in these 4X games, the better your game turns out to be. So I'm hoping for the best. Let's hope they do that, because I think it's just going to make a great experience for everyone. Whew. Well, that's a lot, guys. That was a lot on my heart. Man, I love Endless, man. I freaking love Endless. Let's go. I can't wait for this game. I would love to cover more Endless too. If you guys are new to the channel and you're interested in Endless, stick tuned. I know I do a lot of Monster and stuff, but I want to talk about Endless to the day I die. So if you guys are riding with me, we're going to play Endless, we're going to talk about Endless, I'm going to cover it severely. So stick tuned to the channel, like, subscribe, comment down below. What's your favorite faction back in Endless Legends or Space 2 or Humankind? It doesn't matter, let me know. The Ghanaians were OP in Humankind, crazy. Egyptians, we all know the Egyptians are broken. The Herpans, crazy. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.